Hey everyone, welcome back to another lovely live stream, and I have a special guest today, Pops. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm very blessed, my friend. Thanks for being here. It's great to be out in the front. Everyone can see this ugly old man, and we can see this chat go crazy. And let's talk nerd stuff and have some fun tonight, my friend.
Yeah, I'm excited because I think there's a lot of more good news than anything. I think at least something to be a little excited about. And normally I feel like lately it's just been over the past couple months it's been just mocking and making fun of, and and now it's like I feel like there's a little bit good news on the horizon. And Mr. Spitfire Mark is still awake. I'm surprised. How you doing, sir? Thank you for being here. At the support as always, I appreciate it. He's in a UK time, so I know this is
Oh
very
wow! So
late for him.
he's plus 6 hours or 7 hours. He's
Something like that, yeah.
yeah.
So
It's a
thank you
lot.
for being here. I'm glad you're here, and like I said, we'll be live streaming on the member stream on Sunday morning. So I know you're normally there to make that. So hope you're doing well, my friend. But got a lot to talk about tonight. I know you're up to speed on a lot of this stuff because we keep in contact. That's all right. It's 1 in the morning, but his time, he says. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. But yeah, you're on the same page as I am, covering the same things pretty much. And I know we're going to talk about what we thought about Black Adam, how that went. And then the big news with James Gunn and DC Studios. And then we can wrap it up with our lovely Star Wars Andor series, the show that we watch so you don't. And
Hey, it's a great motto. Works for me. I'm just saying.
Ever since you said that, I'm like, I love that.
I watch it so you don't have to. Yeah. Actually, I can tell you how many times I get DMs. Like, what's your video? Glad I didn't watch it. I get so many, and I'm like, you don't even say thank you as you drop that in my DMs. You could at least say thanks for suffering, Pops. It's okay. I'm like, I've seen worse.
Oh yeah.
No, bro. Sure. I think we have a great. I said it to Joker Voice last night on my show. It's like we have this great Venn diagram of like-mindedness, and our disagreement is usually about degree. It's not about we actually disagree, or we don't even really like would rant or rave over like if we're in a restaurant or something hanging out or whatever. It's more like, all right, well, I didn't really like it as much as you did, kind of thing. Like it's like these degrees of things, but we all pretty much are. It's like this club of people who are all seeing the same car crashes, the same positives and negatives, pretty much in the same light and evaluative. And I think it's brought us together, made us better friends. I'm loving it. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I did watch your video on your Pop's perspective, which I love that, by the way. Or your Popspective. Is that how you?
Popspective. Yeah. Just give the chat the cred right there. Yeah. That's all the chat, baby. Yeah.
And on the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I watched that earlier, and that was a really good breakdown. I thank you for the credit for that. But the way you broke them down, the first one, the second one, the third one, it makes sense though. Like the first thing that popped into my head, and I don't want to go off too much of a tangent, but it reminded me of like a comparison of Alien versus Aliens, right? You have like more of your centered horror story and then more of your action.
Yeah, sci-fi. Yeah, they shouldn't be compared. I hate this always, like, which is better. I'm like, it's like people do it to me, like, is there, because I, you know how bad of a critic I am, how hard I am. Like, there aren't tens, right? And I say, Godfather 1 and 2 go together. It's one big epic story. Like, I don't need to pick one. Don't make me pick one. Alien versus Aliens, they're not the same.
Exactly.
Like, they're actually different genre. Like, one is literally supposed to be like, a gritty horror film. The other is action sci-fi, and they're both brilliant, right? And it's not fair, right? The first Nightmare film was this low budget horror film, very groundbreaking, very different. Freddy was different. He's in your dreams. He's a boogeyman in your dreams. It was freaking cool to live through. And then when you read just a little bit of backstory, because you don't have to be as much of a nerd as I am to get some of the backstory about how they rush things through for money and whatever. But Wes Craven was like, this script's, I mean, it's kind of, I don't have the star logs today, but back in the day, you're basically like, this dude walks in the meeting and goes, this script is, this sucks. I'm not making this movie. There's just no way. And of course, it still made money. And then they're like, well, how about this? He's like, all right, I'll do that. But I want control. And that's how you got Nancy back. And of course, he gets, he has such great character. Look at this. He found Patricia Arquette. Holy crap, dude. On his resume, he found Johnny Depp and Patricia Arquette within like 3 years of one another, 4 years of one another. That's freaking cool. I don't know.
Yeah, the
It
Dream
wasn't
Warriors
you.
for me,
Yeah,
why it just
yeah.
the allure of the dream, like, they really dove into the dream world, and that's what, really got me. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and, all those movies, it's very hard to say which one's more so the other because they're all kinda different, so,
Well, I didn't even
uh
harp on my notes, had all the, like, the gags, because Dream
yeah,
Warriors to me, it does elevate Freddy to a different place because the gags were so good. Most of them
yes.
involve cursing or something
Yeah.
inappropriate, so I didn't,
Prime time.
it's kind of off my brand, so I try not
Yeah.
to get too far down there, but I have to admit that was part of the appeal, the allure. It become fun, it's faster pace, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, so I liked it, so
So let's see.
anyway.
You got a couple more here. People here who
Yeah.
showed up in the chat. We got David who says, "Hey, what's up?
Oh,
Congratulations to Pop
yes.
for the 1.5." And again, yes, congrats, Pops, on that. That's
Yes.
awesome. You're
Thank you
gonna
so
be
much for that.
flying high, even more so very soon. So I
And
don't doubt that one bit.
appreciate being on that stream last night, guys. For all of you that were there, I don't even know what to do other than say sorry for having buffering issues. But I just feel so blessed to have so many people come by and say hey and participate with our game shenanigans and everything else that we did. So had a ball, had a blast.
So let's see. We got Scott Davis. Hope you're
Hey,
doing
Scott.
well, my friend. Got Zach's jumping in
There
here.
he
What's
is,
up,
rock
man?
star baby. It's another brother. There's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
other brother.
I remember when Zach's wasn't even doing YouTube. He was just in everyone's chat, and it's like, dude, about time you started a channel, and he's blown up too. He's just taken over.
He has so much knowledge and such a real dude. He's helped me behind the scenes because we are just our schedules run in complete opposite directions. Like it's, so we're continuing to try to figure out how to do, like, even if it's just like do the StreamYard as like the long distance phone call, because sometimes it's just easy to, like, listen, Matt, I want to talk, but I want to talk to you, not like on the phone. So
Yeah.
it's like, but Zach's been there. I wouldn't even have found these Indian cinema films if it hadn't been for Zach. And that really moved my channel really rapidly. That was like I think that was August spike. It was just completely bonkers.
I still have to watch RRR.
Oh my gosh. It's
I
going to
still
change your
haven't
world,
seen it.
bro. It's going to
I
change your
know
world.
it's right after Halloween's over and it starts to calm. Hopeful. I mean, I don't want it to calm down, right? Because it's been good that we've all kind of been busy and stuff. But when it calms down a little bit on movies and everything, that's my plan, is to watch that and check that out, because I think, if I remember correctly, I started it and I was like, I realized, oh my God, this is a really long movie. I was like, I do not have the time right
They're
now.
all like that.
Yeah.
They're all their movies. It's a big investment, a lot of genres. It's just different. And Zach, you're going to appreciate this too. Once Matt watches RRR, he's going to message me, which one should I watch next? That's what my friend just did. We just had lunch with some friends of ours, and he says, I watched RRR, and then I watched, and I don't want to spoil which ones they are, because you'll know which ones the same director did, that pair. He watched that epic. He's like, which ones do you want me to watch next? And I text him 5 recommendations, Zach. She'd be so proud of me. This guy is on the hook. He sees what we see. He's like, these are so good. I'm like, I know. I've been a critic for freaking 15 years. I understand.
So let's see here. We got Spitfire Mark. I saw the trailer for Black Adam several times. Or when I saw Jaws, it really did nothing for me. The Rock is not really big in England. Yeah, and The Rock is his acting is he's The Rock, right? He's pretty much The Rock, I think, in every movie. I think he did a pretty decent job in this movie, though. But we'll get in that in just a minute. So.
I will say I kind of mocked the trailer, by the way. I don't think the trailer was good marketing. I kind of made fun of the trailer, and some of the CGI in the trailer was clearly not done yet, or was some of the worst of the CGI. So just so you know, Mark, the movie, the trailer didn't do any good marketing help for that film. So for sure.
See, Shaken Bacon is here. I hope you're doing well.
That's a great name.
Responding, the picture's hilarious. But responding to David, playing Modern Warfare tomorrow. I am not as much as a gamer as I used to be, so I'm out of the loop on all that stuff. Yeah. I wish I had the time. I honestly did, but I don't. Your boy Mirage, hope you're doing well, sir. So yeah, let's hop into our first topic, Black Adam. While we're talking about it, we mentioned the trailer. Let me know what you think, Pops. What was your overall thoughts on the movie?
So the movie is fun, better than I expected. It's a nice sign of the DC universe to see them not have a whole bunch of like the weighted political messaging agenda stuff. All the stuff that people talk about in fandom is kind of been divisive for folks. This movie has very, very little of it. And what it does have fits fine in the story. Like there's no, basically it's like colonialism, conversations about colonialism in the context of the story. It's not woke. It doesn't bother me, right? They kind of have an alpha female, but she comes across more like a human Tomb Raider type than she does some sort of Mary Sue or something. Like, she just, it's fine. I will say, be leery of people that are giving this film like a 9. Like there's people out there like trying to blow this into like an 8 or a 9. And I'm like, you guys, you're falling into the same trap that the critics are. The critics that are giving it a 3. Critics that are giving this a 3 are just jackwagons. Please just ignore them. People that are giving this an 8 or a 9 are just, they're too thirsty for something that's decent and they're overreacting. This is a very solid 6 to 7, maybe a little more if you just can if you're okay with just like just massive sequences of just action just because. Like there's these major plot contrivances of just because. You have characters that don't really have much of a purpose, but they're kind of cool to watch. Atom Smasher's comic really. By the way, we should say spoilers because I don't like holding back. So I apologize for those of you who don't want any spoilers. I don't do well. I try to do a non-spoiler thing, and all I did was spoil it for someone in the chat. So I'm sorry if you don't want spoilers. I promise I won't ever spoil I would never spoil like Vader is Luke's dad kind of level of spoil, but I'm not going to hold back of like this discussion. My brain doesn't work like that.
No, definitely definitely full spoilers today. Like we don't hold back. So
sorry about that. If you don't want those things, may not be the stream for you, or watch it later if you come back or something. I don't. I even stopped doing the spoiler warnings. I probably have lost subscribers who are just like, this dude screws up. He messes everything up for me now, because I used to kind of have a non-spoiler and a spoiler. That's too much work. I don't. My brain. All right. So I like the film. I think The Rock did a good job because The Rock was very subdued. He wasn't like over the top Rock like he normally is. And I got you, Zach. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, whoops.
I won't spoil anything major, but I mean, obviously I'm going to talk about the movie.
Yeah.
And I will say, and we'll get to the end because obviously everybody knows about the end credit scene. I will admit, and see, Matt, if you agree with me, that's when there should have been the eyebrow. There was no eyebrow. There was no eyebrow. And that was the perfect moment for the eyebrow. Yeah. And I actually am shocked. Again, I'm greedy because I like the ending scene, but it would have been even better if it was Shazam and Henry Cavill. And then Shazam starts talking like, I'm here. What? No, you go ahead. Yeah. You got it. Just let it be nervous Shazam, because that's the character they've created. It's their version of Shazam. But it's not bad. And it's also just not super great. It's just a fun time. It's good. A lot of contrivances, superhero cliches, a lot of tropes. And it's a good, solid experience in a theater. I don't know that's a film that I'm going to be watching regularly or anything like that. I would think that when it's tied into other movies, then maybe I would rewatch it again to have like a fun refresher to experience that or something. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of your take. I mean, I kind of got that impression that it's, you seem like you liked it a little more than me, but we were pretty much in line with our general impressions.
Yeah, because I gave it about a 7 if I was being very, 7.5, but that's the 7.5 is a stretch. The main thing I said about it was I had fun. Like I enjoyed my theater experience. There were moments where I laughed where, some of the issue that I have with Marvel is some of the jokes feel very forced or just kind of, just not good jokes. Like they're just very, I don't know, very simple jokes. Whereas a couple of times this movie too was like, all right. But there were some times where I did laugh out loud. It was brutal. There was good action scenes.
The beginning of the scene, the beginning of the film is possibly the best, where Black Adam, who basically is a villain, and he's basically been awoken, and he's literally, when he's killing people, this was graphic. Like it was PG-13, but they tried to walk as close to the line as they could to make sure. And I wouldn't be shocked if there was a cut with stuff they had to kind of, take. I think I told you that one time with my copyright claim tricks. It's like you take out like a couple seconds at a time. You don't ever concede. This is a war. Don't ever concede to this YouTube nonsense. I assume that's how they approach it with the censors. It's like, I will take out 2 seconds of the blood here, 2 seconds of the blood there.
If we only show that much, we should be good.
Yeah, it will be good. That part I thought was great. But I think what you're saying, let me see if I summarize this well, was Marvel's jokes always seem like they're forced in and it diffuses like something that actually is important happening. That was all of Thor of Love and Thunder for me. Thor and Love and Thunder was a complete mess because anytime there was anything that mattered, we had to have a stupid gag.
Yes, there's no weight.
Yeah, they diffused every single moment. And this seemed like it was just a natural, like a lot of the gags or the jokes or the laugh out loud are just conversational things. That Atom Smasher and Cyclone talking, and there were not like forced moments to have a gag. It was just like, this is how the story went. If there was a serious moment, it just kept being serious. And then when there were moments for gags, there would be gags. Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, it did surprise me a little bit that there wasn't any type of Shazam involved in this at all. Not maybe like fully into it, but I don't know. I felt like he should have been somewhere in the movie. Or I mean, I know they mentioned him with the wizard, right? Because it's the same kind of gods that are involved. That same god from Shazam, the movie, was in this. But overall, like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And I can't really remember the last time I've watched anything superhero related that I really just had a blast. Like I just had fun. It was just, there was no messaging. I compare this to like She-Hulk, right? I know that's a show, but I'm saying just that it's completely night and day. And I had a lot of fun with it. It was a popcorn flick, 2 hours of my time. I got to forget. And it was just, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Like, it's not the best movie in the world. Definitely not a 9 or a 10 by any sort. Like, I'm not even going to pretend that. But I had fun. Like you said, rewatchability. If it's all in line with something and maybe leading up to something else, sure. But, other than that, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I didn't think it was quite as good as Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that was better. So that would be my last superhero movie that was superior to this one. But it is easily superior to everything Disney Marvel that's been since Phase 4. And I think I probably like it more. I don't know. That would be tricky. I don't know. I kind of like likened it to a Phase 2, Phase 3. Like it's like Phase 2 quality. It's like in that, again, it's a lot of superhero stuff's just been crap.
So the bar is pretty low already. I mean,
they keep lowering the bar on me, and that's why I just have such a hard time with these people who are exaggerating how great it is or whatever. And I will say I'm disappointed with some of the box office numbers, but I think as Mark said earlier, the trailer didn't do it any justice. The trailer definitely kept people from going to see it because it just painted a very cheap, cheesy looking film with like there's a couple stupid gags in the trailer, and those don't play out the way they play out in the film. So fortunately, those moments were intercut for the trailer and not how they're presented. So,
David says, speaking of Shazam, you guys like the first one and have no interest in the second one. I have interest in the second movie. I really liked the first Shazam movie. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I plan on seeing the second one. I don't know, Pops. How did you feel about the first Shazam movie? And
I'm with you. I think I was so pleasantly surprised by the first movie. Like I just did not expect it to be good because of who they cast, and their approach was going to be very comedic. And there was no way I thought they were going to pull this off and yet have a villain that I would cheer against. I thought, it's going to be cheese fest, and they're just going to dispatch this guy. And I will say they didn't kill the villain. Thank gosh. The movies, why are we killing them off all the time? Like we got to stop doing. The whole point of the comic books is there's always another threat.
They come back.
They get out of Arkham Asylum. They do what I've said this since the '89 Batman. Don't kill them off. What are you doing? No. I actually like this first Shazam movie, and to me it's rewatchable fun. It's literally like the definition of just like silly superhero cheese. My wife will watch it. We can watch it with the kids in the house. It's fine. And I'm fine giving the second one a chance. I will admit it looks very cheeky. It looks like, but again, I don't trust the trailers and the marketing so I'm just gonna, I'll give it a chance. I don't know, because I didn't race out to see Black Adam like on Thursday night or anything like that, but I'm not saying that I will avoid it either. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a very fun movie. So I can't imagine the second one. I think the same people are involved director wise.
Yeah, same thing. He's on a multi-film contract, so yeah, he's not going anywhere.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it turns out the way it is, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I don't know if you agree with this or not. I think some of the issue is DC has been in such a mess from behind the scenes that maybe that also is affecting how Black Adam was doing at first. I know word of mouth is a big deal, but I know a lot of people with the whole, I don't know if really maybe the Snyderverse has anything to do with it, but just as a whole, I think fans are really upset with how DC has been managed and handled over the past, I mean, how many years has it been now? Where it
At
feels like
least
it's just a
10.
complete disaster.
Well, I think
And
that fans have the fatigue. Fatigue is real. I mean,
yeah,
Disney has given everyone chronic fatigue. Like yeah, their shows are so bad and tedious, because that's my word, tedious, for these shows. It's like you really have to be invested to stick around to watch She-Hulk and some of this stuff. Like this, just it is not an enjoyable experience. And at some point, the normies and I think this is where we're going to see with the normies is they're waiting for people like us to tell them if that's good or not.
yeah,
They're waiting for some of the word of mouth to go. Is it worth seeing in the theater or not? It's also a really bad economy right now.
I was just gonna say
So
too.
yeah, so people are kind of like, listen, I'll go if you say it's good and it's worth the money, and I can decide if I'm going to a matinee or not. But I'm not just blowing money at these films anymore. It's just too expensive to go, and there's just too many of them that have been dog crap.
Yeah, and that's perfect where Mark says, is it the time of the superhero movie finally coming to an end? I don't know. I mean, I think it's not they're not peaking at all. I think if anything, they're on the decline, and I think it depends on the superhero. I personally think any Spider-Man movie that comes out is going to just do astronomically well because it's Spider-Man. But some of these other characters that they're bringing into it that are, I guess, not as popular. Like, I mean, for example, like Ironheart, right?
The
Are
TV
people
show
gonna?
though,
Oh, it's
TV
gonna be
show,
a TV show.
yeah, it's
Okay.
TV show.
What's the next movie? I mean, Wakanda, right? And then Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
and the Wakanda marketing is like the same pro-black, get a free ticket for your black friend thing. Like that's so weirdly racist to me. Like I'm like,
It is
wait a
right.
minute, what? Buy black kids tickets to see the movie. Like it was so strange to see that on Twitter today. I'm like, what on earth are you people doing? Like that's a thing.
It's a
I don't
very
know. Mark, I think the answer to your question is it good or not? Like, people will go see things that are good. People want to have fun. Like we talked about Black Phone, right? Black Phone was a big
yeah.
surprise for me. I'm like, didn't really know if I'd go see it. And I saw it and I was like, holy crap, this is a lot of fun. This is a great film. And word of mouth got it. They kept leveling up. And this is what you're going to find with Triple R. Once when this guy sees it, he's going to be like, oh crap, I waited too long to see this movie. When things are good, they're good. And I think when people see Black Adam, they're going to be pleasantly surprised. I don't know where that goes from here, right? Because I mean, obviously, this movie with that little credit scene. I don't know about you, man. About had the goosebumps when they did the music. They cheated.
Yeah.
They cheated. They did both.
They knew what they were doing.
He has the curl, and they did the dun 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 dun. And you're like, oh, that's what I want. And he looked good. Yeah.
He did. He looked really good. And that's for anyone who doesn't know, which I can't imagine any of you who don't. But, Superman shows up at the end credits. Henry Cavill, he's already announced that he's coming back. And I think that's going to be a big draw for fans, too. And at least for me, got excited. Like, let's see what DC actually does going forward.
I had to keep it secret from my wife so I could see the look on her face when she goes to see it because she's all about Henry.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Well.
Oh, not even a little bit. No. So she knew him from Tutors. Okay. If you what Tutors, and he's super unshaven and stuff in Tutors, and he's shirtless half the time and the whole nine, right? And I'll never forget we saw the trailer for Man of Steel, and it's that rescue scene in the opening, and
when
it
he's
burns
pushing
it burns the clothes off. He goes, "Holy smokes, he's on fire!" And I'm like. Yeah. Do you need to be alone with the trailer for a minute? I mean, yeah. And Davis, on that note, Davis is saying Cyclone got his blood pumping too a little bit there. Got a little Cyclone love. Yeah, she was cute and adorable. I mean, they're fine. They didn't have to be in the film, but her and Adam Smasher were kind of like, it was levity, not always like a gag.
Yeah.
Right? It was levity.
Fate was awesome.
He was awesome. I really undersold that in my video. If there's any regret I had, I didn't really emphasize how good Pierce Brosnan was. Oh, it's a big spoiler if we kind of get into that, though.
But it's okay. This is full spoilers, so everyone's been warned.
You got it. killing Dr. Fate was either dumb because they nailed it with Pierce Brosnan, or they didn't like pick the helmet up and do something. Like it was dumb to have Hawkman holding it and using it. Like, no, he can. Everyone can regenerate. This is the thing that ticked me off. It's like we wasted too much screen time talking about we don't want Hawkman to die. Hawkman will be fine. He'll be another freaking Hawkman in like 20 minutes. He just needs to regenerate. Pick up a JSA comic book. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Someone else needs to put on the Dr. Fate helmet. They're Dr. Fate now. Like it's okay. But no, I think, listen, I'm not a fan of the race swapping thing. You know, Ginger lives matter, and Cyclone was changed. But she was adorable, sweet and cute and fun. Her and Atom Smasher had great chemistry. And I said,
she didn't talk down to everybody. Like she wasn't.
Nobody talked down.
Nope. Everyone was treated pretty much like, oh, okay, everyone's on the same page.
And the main lady, the Adriana, was that her name, right? The main actress character. Even when she's talking down to them, she's not talking down them to belittle them because they're men. She's like, this is my freaking homeland. I think I get to call the shots. She wasn't saying, you're a man, your voice don't matter. I'm a woman, hear me roar. This was more like, listen, they're in my country. No one freaking cares. So you don't get to come in here at the midnight hour and tell me how we're going to do things. And that was a really good way of propping up a strong female without having it be, you know, at the cost or the you know, degradation of another character. So,
and yes, execute order shills. I am very happy that She-Hulk is over. I've been waiting for that show to end, and I'm so glad I don't have to wake up early to watch that, to review it, because it was just.
We were talking about that literally weekly, sometimes multiple times on the Thursday. Like, oh my God, have you got? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Is your video? Yeah, mine is too. And just like it was like every week we're like, can you believe another? Yeah, I know. 20 more minutes of my life where nothing happens. She's just a drunk slut. Now she was at a wedding, then she was at therapy. And then they changed the ending because she's a spoiled late. It's just like, it was freaking insane. Yeah, I'm with it. But you know what, Matt? We took it for the team, man.
Yeah.
It made us better men. It made us stronger.
And you know what? And the audience enjoyed watching us suffer and laugh at it. That's the best part, is it sucked, but it was funny to laugh at. And that's where I got at least some enjoyment out of that. Was I got to laugh at it. And honestly, you saw them freak out a little with all the articles and stuff. So, you know, all the talk about it was getting to them pretty big time. At least in my opinion, I think it does.
I think there's so much projection in those statements about, you know, we knew what these trolls were going to say 3 years ago and blah, blah, blah. It says, we're living rent free in your head. I don't really care if you know what I'm going to say or not, but I'm ready to, like, you know, buy a rug and set up one of those comfy chairs from Andor, just hang out in your head for the next season of whatever you try to write. Because obviously you care more about what I say than I even do sometimes. Because holy cow, that show is so on the nose of like YouTube content creator hatred, the online 4chan trolling. And
I mean, I think someone was saying it was like they were literally, I mean, they were like mocking Doomcock with the mask. I mean, it's like
there's a thumbnail. Yeah, someone had a thumbnail, and I'd already watched enough videos and suffered through the show on my own. I didn't even sit through another video on it, but they put the thumbnail up of Doomcock and the one from the show. I was like, holy crap, that's even closer than I thought it was when I saw it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. David says, Dr. Fate was amazing. Heard something about that they're doing a TV show. I did not hear that, but I would not be opposed to that if done correctly, obviously.
I would love to see Pierce Brosnan, a show with Pierce Brosnan passing the torch to another Dr. Fate would be great, right? So the helmet is somewhere. I'm not going to pretend to be a Dr. Fate expert. It's like one of those extra characters in the DC universe that shows up in my books that I care about, but I'm not going to pretend that I know. But it goes to another character. Matt's going to be the new Dr. Fate, and Pierce Brosnan kind of appears intermittently, giving him advice and training as the helmet uses him and whatever. The only caveat I will say is, because Dr. Fate is now being introduced so much later after Doctor Strange, they should have tried to make the effects look a little more different. Like the mirror universe stuff looked too on the nose with Doctor Strange, and all they had to do was just change the CGI to have some different design elements and stuff. It really wouldn't be that hard. That's the only thing. So I'm just trying to think about the normies. We got to keep them straight, you know? So
Yeah, and to a good segue from that is the news about DC Studios and how they're, James Gunn and Peter Safran, is it,
Yeah,
have
Peter
taken
Safran.
over DC Studios, and I think that's a good thing. What do you think? How do you feel about all that?
They've worked together. They've done some good stuff. I like the Suicide Squad, I think, more than some other people did. I don't understand some of the hate on the Suicide Squad. I really, really don't. To me, if you had told me they're going to do a Suicide Squad movie and the best characters were going to be Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, I would have thought you were on some crack.
Yeah.
And they not only pull that off, you tell me that Idris Elba's in it and he just gets to be a cool action hero and his character's really kind of intermittently interchangeable with like 3 other humans. It didn't matter. I would have thought, there's no way this is going to work. It worked brilliantly for what it was. I didn't care for all of Peacemaker. I was really kind of like all over the map with Peacemaker. Like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It was, I don't know.
Did you like the Peacemaker show?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of all over the map with the show. Like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I like this piece and not that piece. It's almost like one of those too complex to review kind of responses. Like, because things I would like and dislike would be like literally like within like one scene apart. It'd be like, oh, this scene crap. Oh, backward, we're being good again. Oh, this scene's crap. It's like it was a major roller coaster ride for me. So I will say them teaming up together gives me sort of like fanboy hope a little bit. I don't trust Gunn. I think he can also just be kind of like the Taika Waititi type where they were into like the Marvel music mode, right? We got to play soundtracks and we've got to do, and I'm so sick of that. If you guys haven't heard my ranting about these trailers, Marvel has ruined every movie trailer, like for the last
every song that you've ever loved. Because
have you seen or heard about the the Marvels one?
No.
Oh my God, the Marvels one has a great song. I forget what it is off the top of my head. I remember just the San Diego Comic-Con thing it played. I'm like, no, please, no. Don't ruin another freaking song for me, man, from my past. This is so.
Well, they do that on purpose.
Because
then if you like the song, you're not gonna dislike the trailer.
You hit the dopamines and epinephrines in our brains because we're that. Yeah, I know. Hope, yes. A lot of we'll sees. I was also happy to see it was a very smaller story in the grand scheme of all this, was that they hired a good writer for Arkham Asylum, which is a show they're talking about doing. And they revamped and retooled the entire Green Lantern project they had to center around Jon Stewart, which is the appropriate direction they should go. It's like, it's so clearly the direction they should go is to use Jon Stewart. Everyone knows who Jon Stewart is. Stop pretending that we need to go this timeline of this Green Lantern or that Green Lantern. No, we're good. You get your woke points because he's a cool black dude and, cool Green Lantern. So, we'll see.
The issue, I think, with DC right now is that they can't have, I don't think, a connected universe like they do with Marvel because they kind of already have like your Matt Reeves Batman is doing its own thing. They've already established, I think, even in Black Adam, that Ben Affleck's still the Batman.
They signed him up for 3 more films. Now,
Ben Affleck?
Yeah. This is I don't think it's confirmed, but I'm 99% sure that's going to happen. It's like
I did not know that.
Yeah. Now, the dream, the call pops and let's fix the DC universe is you need to do World's Finest. You need to figure out a World's Finest with Batman and Superman. We don't need to get carried away. We can do Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as like like the triad. That's fine. If we're gonna have Affleck stick around, though, the real home run ball would be to announce. You want to see fandom go nuts? Watch Matt's face. We've signed Ben Affleck for a 3-film deal, and it's to do a Batman Beyond trilogy.
That would be nuts.
You want to see the fandom go completely bonkers with support?
That'd have to be the 3rd film, though, because I want to see Ben Affleck in his own stuff. I gotta see him.
I understand, but it could be an evolution of him over the years, or he flashes back and forth. Him struggling with,
let's see Robin's death, right? That would be because they hinted at that.
That was one of my biggest complaints with the BVS and Justice League is we have to have flashback sequences to his parents. Like, how about all of the other trauma that this human is obsessed with? And he's not like a little bit obsessed. Like, he is obsessed with it's his fault Jason dies. It's his fault that these things keep happening, whatever. And I have a lot of hope. I think right now the Warner Brother Discovery model is we need to make money. And that's the proper model. What do the fans want that are going to sell tickets? I recorded my video. It'll drop tomorrow about that I told you I was going to do it, that Superman Son of Kal-El comic book, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I read these issues. I know, years off my life.
That's taking one for the team there, Pops.
And I'm like, you didn't want to make money. Like, I try to illustrate it. I care less about them being gay. It completely is irrelevant. Let me explain to you how you lost customers. Issue 1, you lost this many customers. When this happened, you lost this many customers. When we get to this, it's just like it just keeps going. And it's like, until money matters, they don't have an incentive to make good product and abandon the messaging stuff. And I think there's been little glimmers of hope. We'll see.
Same thing with Hulk or with She-Hulk, right? That was not a show designed, hey, we are going to gain fans from this and we are going to make money. No, this is we want to spit on trolls, is what I got from that. And all you did, I think, was annoy the ones who already hated it or were going to keep hating it from the get-go. And all you did was the fans that actually were trying to defend that show and say, well, maybe there'll be something towards the end. Maybe this is, maybe you're just being a hater. They completely spit in their face at the end of that last episode. Because like I said, I had a couple people that were defending that show throughout all my reviews. And they were saying, well, maybe there'll be a big bad, maybe it'll actually turn out decent. And then that whole episode just completely shattered that, threw a brick right through that window. And they were dead quiet.
There's 2 shills that I have, right? It's the, well, they're going to fix it. They're going to be good. It's the naive. There's no evidence to prove they can do it right, people. Hence, like the Daredevil Born Again people, right? They're so excited about Daredevil Born Again coming. I'm like, what makes you think? Give me an ounce of evidence they will do that justice. There is 0 they can give you. And then the other is the complete deflection of, well, they did this in the comic book. It's okay. Or if you read that novel, you would understand and stuff like that. You're like, okay, hold on. What is on screen is what we get to judge. Well, what's in the comic book, we can judge in the comic book. You don't get to just arbitrarily conflate things that aren't there. It's the headcanon. I hate the headcanon people. That was the Kenobi defense. 99% of the defense of Kenobi was headcanon stuff. Stuff that never happened on screen, that they put in the show that the writers never put in the show. Yeah. Your chat's all crazy, man. I don't even know how you can
Well, and then too, on top of that, the argument of saying, well, it's in the comics. Just because it's something is.
Uh-oh. I have control of Matt's show now. He's buffered. Hello, chat. How are you? I hope you're doing well. You guys had some cool stuff to say earlier we didn't get to, so maybe we'll circle back around to that. Let me see what I can find here that we can discuss. Your boy Mirage, I think Marvel vs. DC is on the horizon. You hopefully don't think they're actually going to join and make like an amalgam project, because they will not ever do that. Trust me, there are barriers between Marvel and Sony. There is 0 chance Marvel, if Disney's involved, they will deal with the Warner Brother people. These are all enemies. They're not going to cooperate with one another. So,
yeah,
sorry, that's back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've never had that happen. So glad. Thanks for picking that up for me. But yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. See if that would. I don't think that's ever possible for sure. No.
There's so much money involved in negotiations of percentages, because that's what the Spider-Man negotiation always comes down to, is how much of a cut does Disney think they get?
I was just going to say that was the biggest issue with Sony, right? With Spider-Man, because they argue back and forth on how much one can get the other, and Sony pretty much holds all the cards. They're like, no, you're not getting this. So
yeah. Sony likes to be part of the MCU and have the overlap of the cameos and stuff like that. But to be honest, they don't need it. And now John Watts has figured out, he said he's done such a great job with their franchise. I wouldn't mess with the dude. Let him just make what he wants to make. I do believe, by the way, that's my conspiracy theory, is he'll eventually come clean. That's why he left Fantastic Four. There's just too much baggage dealing with the Marvel Disney people.
Well, I think that's what's going on. The same thing with Blade, the directors of Blade.
100% agree.
Everybody's like, I don't want anything to do with this because of this is not. Remember how I used to say, or I would say it now, it's like their woke resume, like their virtual resume. This is actually hurting their real resume anymore. Like they don't have full control of their action sequences, their CGI teams. They don't have control of the script in a lot of ways. Oh, they have to do this to set the next thing up. And at some point you're just like, I don't need this. I don't need this. Especially if you start thinking about, you could have competitors like Sony and Warner going,
You can come over here and make what you want. And that's what I'm really hoping comes out of this thing with James Gunn. He has people that he knows the formula, he knows how to thread some things together.
Well, and James Gunn, remember, even in Peacemaker, right? I don't think he was happy, because if you remember, again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Peacemaker, but that end scene where the Justice League shows up, and they had to remove Batman and they had to remove Superman. He was pissed about that. He was not happy because he wanted them in there. And now that he has full control, I can't see him doing that to other people and other directors. They're going to say, you know, as long as you're within the guidelines and it all kind of makes sense in what universe we're trying to create, do what you want.
Same thing with Shazam, right? So Superman shows up, but it's not really Superman's head. So you're just like, come on, man.
You're down.
That's so silly. Yeah. Yeah.
But what I was saying before my internet cut out, but my argument, like when you said that, well, it happened in the comics, and it's like, well, just because it's something bad in the comics does not still justify that it's okay to put on screen. That not just because it's in a comic book doesn't mean it's great either. I mean, you're doing videos on just how bad comics are, some of them. So
I couldn't even get through some of the new She-Hulk comic books, man. It wasn't my She-Hulk. It was so shockingly, like, you know, sensational She-Hulk will always be my She-Hulk, right? The sexy She-Hulk with her stuff hanging out, knows who she is. She's talking to me about knowing that. Like, I know you're looking at me. Well, I'm doing this jump road. I know you think I'm naked, but I mean, it's literally like they're gags that I get it, right? And the show thinks they're breaking the fourth wall properly, but they never were. So,
no.
I'm not sure.
Mirage says She-Hulk is the worst Marvel series ever written.
Okay, so let's spin our wheels there for a second. Let me ask you this though. What is worse, She-Hulk being the crap dumpster fire that it is of a show, or Loki that destroys the first 20 films by creating lore that contradicts the entire element of the Infinity Saga?
That's a good point.
That's my thing. It's like one is complete crap, and then one destroys canon. This is Kenobi versus like Book of Boba Fett for me. Like, it was like Kenobi destroys everything.
Yeah,
Book of Boba Fett was just garbage. Him walking around without a freaking helmet, not even being in his own show for whole episodes. And the Mandalorian episode is the best freaking episode of the entire show. Like, so I will not argue that you're right, you boy Mirage, but I also argue that I still hate Loki more because it destroyed
everything
all of it was done. Episode 1.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Hey, you know, all the stuff that you cried about and you went to the theater about, that's gone now, and none of that matters. It's
they didn't want it. And remember, for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, make sure I'm gonna go little like nerd 101 on you.
Go ahead.
Remember, Doctor Strange says, I searched millions of possibilities. There's only one solution, right? What do? In the matter of Loki and What If, they tell us that if Black Panther had been Star-Lord and gave Thanos a good talking to, that would have stopped it from happening. And if the Ultron storyline and Vision would have happened, Ultron would have zapped Thanos and split him in two. So they just keep going through all these scenarios that contradict themselves, and we're all supposed to just ignore what is the most significant thing that they've created to that point. 20 freaking films. It's like, by the way, we undid all of that in our next 2 series. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. This is why my Kenobi video was like this too. It's like, you can't have us destroy everything we like and not say something. Like, that isn't how this is going to work. Yes.
Kenobi, I mean, that was the show for me for Star Wars.
It broke you.
No, it
great.
Broke
you and I were all the same. We were in therapy. So that's what I think it's when we really started connecting, because we were in like therapy sessions with one another. Yeah, man, I don't even know how you got through that. I was having a hard time too.
To this day, and look, and that's where I got to mention Mark's comment. You know, Marvel and DC's never really been that big for him, but he is a devotee of Lucasfilm in the 70s and 80s, and that's why, you know, a lot of these people's hatred for what's going on and what happened, I completely understand, because I mean, just that I will never, ever, forever, never forget when Obi-Wan ran from Vader. That scene, he just turns and runs. I mean, what, again, it's hurting my head to even talk about this. The whole point of he's, you know, this PTSD broken guy, doesn't use the Force, doesn't want to use lightsabers. No, we're gone. Forget it. You know, don't don't worry about the Jedi Order, just go hide. But then in the same sentence, literally, hey, when am I going to see Luke? I need to start training him. What? What are you talking about? Like,
you're no good to Luke. You're no
what
good
are you
to Luke.
training him? You don't know what to do.
That's what I took the most heat for in my video. My comments are completely bonkers. At one point, I thought my video was going to get ratioed because there were so many dislikes of people telling me I'm wrong with my PTSD take. I'm like, it's 10 freaking years. It's not like 18 months.
Yeah.
It was 10 years ago when this crap happened. His lightsaber is buried in the desert. If the TIE fighters fly overhead in Tatooine, what the hell good is he going to be?
Yeah.
It was so dumb to me.
He could barely pick up Leia. Oh, and he's struggling like, God.
And then that plot point was underdone because we obviously know Obi-Wan responds with the Leia thing in episode 2. So obviously Reva knows her plan worked. So then it's like, oh, well, fine. Who cares about with Leia? Let's just kidnap Bail's wife. He'll come running for her too. There was just and then of course we hide Leia in the coat, which by the way, we can never forget because we thought that was the worst thing in Star Wars. And transition to the last episode of Andor, which I'm having a hard time deciding what is worse. Obi-Wan hiding Leia in the coat or what we saw at the last scene of Andor. Because holy crap. I stopped. Like I couldn't.
This is a great transition to
is there anything in chat we should get to? Because we probably have ignored some of these really are some great comments, by the way. So
yeah, I know. Let's see. Bobby just popped up. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man.
Jedi and the Sith overpowered now. Yeah,
they're like video game characters. I remember he powers up in the trench, like the rocks are falling in on him, and next suddenly his power force came all right back. He thought about the kids. And his power, he powered up. There's a secret Mario mushroom down in there, and he just went, all right, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, these these kids, I'm a full Jedi again.
The cloak scene, yeah, I mean that, and let's not forget R.I.P. Wade. We can't forget Wade.
Oh.
Moment
of silence for Wade. I never did make my shirts. I need to figure out my shirt. I've got to get my shirts done. Hashtag RIP Wade.
You got to do the Star Wars font, RIP Wade, and have like I don't know, maybe like a snow speeder on fire.
I wanted the silhouette of like the logo, but somebody told me that would not go with copyright. So I was trying to figure out what to put it on. But yeah, you're right. They need some sort of silhouette of something. And it says, hashtag RIP Wade.
You could, I don't think they don't copyright people that sell. They don't care. But
I think if it even just says hashtag RIP Wade, people would be like, that's cool, man. Problem is you can't get shirts done for like less. You got to charge people like $25 for a shirt because it costs so much because you can't print mass. I can't print, 3,000 of them or something. You got to use these outlets that print on demand for you. So the cost to you, the customer, is like $5. I'm like, well, and I get like $1.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then I don't want to put it out there for someone else to copy me. I'll wait until I can figure out how to do this to make, I don't know, $5. I'll have $5. I don't want to make,
Yeah. You make $1 and they make 20.
20. Yeah.
But let's see. Why make a series about an uninteresting cardboard character called Andor? Yeah, and that's
we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to him.
Well, we could transition because I think I've covered all the other ones. She-Hulk. So is that the worst written? Would She-Hulk be the worst written and Loki just be the most damaging of all of Marvel? Because I don't think She-Hulk's really damaging to the universe. I think it's just
correct.
It's just a used diaper.
I'm trying to run through the used diaper. That's good. Hashtag used diaper. By the way, those of you who don't get the hashtag jokes, I think hashtags are like one of the dumbest premises that's leaked into our lexicon. So for me, hashtags are like hashtag the stupidest things that should be associated with things that we say. So you're okay to just go on Twitter and just put hashtag used diaper because people will have no clue to what you're talking about. Then you just tag me and Matt in it and we will laugh.
Yeah, and then you'll eventually see hashtag diaper, like used diaper trending or something. Because
it'll be like 3 years from now, and they'll be like hashtag used diaper for some other reason, and our stupid jokes will be there. Yeah,
forever.
I do this stuff all the time. Like I just come with So I'm trying to. Sorry, my brain was paused to go through all of their stupid, crappy shows because I don't really delete them, but I kind of have them in buckets, so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Because I said Marvel's doing something wrong when Miss Marvel is the best show. And I say that more like as far as being written and executed. Like it's not even a superhero show in a lot of ways. It's just this geeky, silly, supernatural fan. Yeah, like I think MVP called it like Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
It's like Lizzie McGuire found a magic bracelet, and that's what we're going to show on Disney coming up on Saturday nights at 8. You know, it's just like, it was just so I guess, yeah, technically, if we separate destruction and some of the impacts of it, because She-Hulk is completely irrelevant. Nothing has changed. The show ends. She is a nasty, arrogant, narcissist, drunk slut, just like she was in the beginning.
And
Nothing
the only
has
thing
changed.
they did was tie her to now Matt Murdock. That's it.
Well, she's sleeping with him. You know, the blind guy wants to be with her, so that's good to know. And they changed how she become
blind dude.
I know. So the only dude that wanted to sleep with Jen. The other ones wanted to sleep with She-Hulk, but the only one that slept with Jen
was the
blind dude. And by the way, we had to have the walk of shame gag, which doesn't make any sense, because where's he going?
And why is his shoes off?
And why is he carrying it first? Where's he going? He doesn't drive. He doesn't he just drops into the end, the finale episode, where he just drops into the scene. I'm like, what are you people doing? Like, you know, it's Daredevil, right? Was he in a helicopter and somebody just said, get out, and just dropped him? we should do like, I wish, see, this why can be like, I have like staff, because I'd be like, can you guys animate like a helicopter? And we just have this scene where it's like animated Daredevil, She-Hulk finale. Okay, go. And we just throw Daredevil out of the helicopter and fly away, because it just makes no sense whatsoever. He's just walking down the street with his boots off, and you have no idea where he's in full Daredevil gear. He has no drivers. There's no. Is he getting an Uber? That would have been funnier. It would have been funnier that there was an Uber than there was the walk of shame.
All right. So Andor,
such memories, such good times.
Mark brings up this, and we can talk about Rogue One too. So he saw Rogue One twice on my own, then with my son and his friends. Disliked it, and the boys were unimpressed. I thought it would grow on me with a second viewing. Now, what was your official or initial view of Rogue One, and what do you think about it now?
So, I liked Rogue One. Obviously, the ending. I'm just like everyone else. I nerded out over the Vader element of it all, and I will say I nerded out over the fact that it ends. I could take that disc out and I could put New Hope in the story we keep going.
Yes.
I thought that was very brilliantly done. I liked it. I was exaggerating my fondness of it at the time, because as I've rewatched it, it's so much slower and uninteresting and drab. It doesn't hold up as well as it did initially. I had sort of an initial fanboy love of it because of the Vader and the fact that it connected so perfectly with New Hope, that I kind of probably exaggerated my love of it. And over time, I got to tell you, since I've moved, I was in the last 2 years, I don't even know if I've watched it. I don't think I have.
And I'm the same way. Like, once it came out at first, obviously I was, oh my God, the Vader scene, the hallway. Yeah. Like, that's what we've always wanted to see. And and over time, as I've watched it, there are some good elements and some good scenes that I really like. I did like the beach assault kind of scene, the rebels and the stormtroopers kind of going at it, like the firefights and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Well done. I've always wanted to see more of that stuff, just the kind of ground fighting kind of thing, just because I love war movies. So I thought that was just always be a great element to see. But like you said, the transition, I love that aspect. Like you said, one disc right to another. But yeah, other than that, it's just kind of it's okay.
I had to look up the character, the blind force sensitive guy. His name is Chirrut. I don't know their names.
Asian dude.
Yeah. Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
He was probably one of my favorite parts. K2SO was done well for comic relief. Yes. That's how we ended up with the crappy woke version in Solo, because they're like, oh, that robot worked really good. Let's give him this one, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Rogue One. I feel very uninspired now. And the euphoria is gone. Like, I've seen it doesn't hold up as well. It's like, okay, yeah, my initial response was because, and I will say this, maybe you felt the same way. It happened at a time where I thought, because we were going to do some anthology films and stuff like that, they kind of got fandom and they kind of got what we wanted.
Yeah.
And then that was quickly dispensed with Solo. Like, it was quickly cast aside that, you know, with the sequel films and with Solo, no, they don't know what we want at all. We thought we wanted like these film interpretation type stuff that filled in some gaps, but they could stand alone on their own. They didn't disrupt the canon. And that's not at all what we got. So,
yeah. And I pretty sure Rogue One was before The Last Jedi, correct? I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rogue One was the last that I saw in theaters Star Wars movie. Excuse me. No, I saw that. Then I saw Last Jedi. And after Last Jedi, I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not watching any more Star Wars films in theater.
Yeah, Rogue One was 2016. Last Jedi was 2017.
Yeah, so I was excited about, what's it? Force Awakens. I was like, all right, this is okay. Like, everyone was excited about it. After you watch a couple times, you're like, okay, it's kind of a copy, whatever. It's okay. Mm-hmm. It's a good reboot kind of thing. Then you see, Rogue One. You're like, okay, this was cool, awesome. And then we get into The Last Jedi, and I was like, oh no, what are you doing? And then once I saw Leia Mary Poppins through the sky, I was like, done. I'm out. I'm not watching anymore. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only one. And then that's when I kind of started looking on YouTube and finding like the Geeks and Gamers guys and all that, where I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one that thinks this is absolute garbage. God,
I wish I had done that. I wish I had reconciled some of my issues. I was in denial. I kept having this battle with my son. He was like you. He checked completely out. He's like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, no, it's $1 billion at stake here. They have a plan. And we used to fan fiction these conversations on the phone about, oh no, we're going to open and they're going to make you want to be Vader. I'll make you more machine now than man, Kylo Ren, that kind of stuff. And it's a clone of the Emperor. It's not really. And Snoke was just a clone gone bad. There's like a million little Snoke cloney things. And no, we didn't do anything cool. No, we didn't. We just make up crazy crap. I remember sitting in Rise of Skywalker, because you've never seen it.
No.
They had this great moment where you think, because Rey's kind of like, her powers are all over the map. And she uses lightning like an Emperor would. It shoots out of her hand and she blows up this shuttle. And you think Chewbacca's on the shuttle, which would have been this amazing, cool, dramatic thing to be hanging over our heads in the audience. No, they undo that within like 4 minutes of screen time. Like, it takes like no time for you to see Chewbacca's actually alive. Like, every time there was a moment, that's what they did. It was so frustrating. Hated it.
I mean, it's got to be the biggest blunder of money that a studio has ever done. It's got to be. I mean, the whole trilogy is just complete waste and joke. So yeah, Mirage has R.I.P. Wade, a character that died of a flying crate of plutonium hitting his engine. That was the oddest thing about that, was that they made.
I didn't even know there was plutonium in that crate. It's just like it looks like just a box of wrenches to me. I just thought it was like R.I.P. Wade. There you go. I don't know what to say.
And then the other snowspeeder that was literally like a minivan, because they were fitting like 12 people into it.
Yeah.
Rogue One is good. Andor made me nap. And we're going to get into this next episode here in just a second.
This is what's going to happen if we start hanging out regularly. We'll just chat forever, man.
Oh
we just love just talking to each other. But so you guys know, privately, we are chatting like pretty regularly. Probably would talk more if we didn't have full-time jobs.
I agree. Mark says, a film we did not need. It was explain the opening crawl of Star. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree.
Yep.
This is a good point too, and I know we both mentioned this on our videos too. But we see no alien creatures in Andor, and I know some people have tried to argue this, that like the Empire didn't like alien creatures, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, just because the galaxy is massive, right? We should be seeing aliens.
This doesn't make any sense, because we've gone to different planets and don't see aliens. It would make sense if we were only in like the corridors of an Empire stronghold and the aliens were kept at bay, right? So it's like, oh, we don't like aliens in here. You're outside.
Even the prison that we're in now,
there's no aliens.
Yeah.
There were like 3 aliens in the background in their little party they had in this last episode. I literally am at the point now where there's so few aliens, I'm counting them. Like, there's one. Like, it's literally just these cheesy things that, no, there's no aliens. And actually, this was part of the issue with Kenobi as well. They'd go to a cantina. There's no aliens in the freaking cantina. I'm like, what the heck are we doing? Like, there's nothing. So
I will say, I will give Obi-Wan props that at least they didn't have brothels in Obi-Wan. And
we started with a brothel with Andor, because he's a class act alpha main character. Is that we're going to go to a brothel to look for the sister, because she's high class, right? That's where she's going to roll. I don't know what you think about your sister, but all right, I'm going to go to this foreign planet and check out the brothels for her.
Like, I do appreciate the the attempt at something different. I really do, but I still think in order to capture this, like the Star Wars feel, you have to keep the same kind of formula in a sense. It still has to be adventurous and action packed, and there's not enough of it. Like even in this last episode, I noticed the most the music was very 80s synthesized, very like kind of like Stranger Things, it felt like. And that's not Star Wars at all.
Yeah, nothing. So I could fix that opening scene for you because all we had to do was go into that place and not tell everyone it's a brothel. Could have just been a bar.
Yeah.
And all he had to do be Star Wars is he just opens this little box and whoop, there's a hologram. I'm looking for this person. That's it. You don't even tell us it's a sister. You could reveal that freaking later on. We could think he's behaving like a bounty hunter. We don't even need to know. Nope. Oh, okay. So if we get into the Andor episode, it's modern.
Yeah. Modern Lucasfilm has forgotten how much the original film impacted the world of entertainment. It was amazing, and all it. Yeah, well, we know they dump all over it for sure. 2 more comments, and then we are digging right in. I want to hear your thoughts. I still haven't caught up on Andor, playing Persona, writing in my paper in class, and then perfect. Scott Davis says the music.
That's a good analogy. Yeah,
exactly.
That sort of synthesized sci-fi generic music probably has a YouTube creator music catalog, and we probably could have found something similar.
So go ahead. What was your latest review on Andor? Because I'm still behind on my video. I've watched it. I just haven't done it yet.
So we unearthed the formula. Like the formula is 3 episodes is a story, right? So we had 2 episodes of walking around before something happened. And he finally leaves the planet. Then we talk about a heist for 2 episodes. Then we finally do the heist. So the last episode, I said, we're really going to know their hand if it starts off really, really slow. Of course, it started off really, really slow. This one moved a little faster because he gets himself arrested and we have to go through this whole setup of a prison thing. And I actually thought to myself, there's no way they're going to go through with this. He's going to escape. There's going to be some weird thing that just contrivances he can get. They did not. They set out he is in a prison. Yep. And this is a kick butt, scare you to death prison because it all seems like this could actually happen. I don't know about Matt, but I was like, I'm a little worried that there's going to be politicians that are going to watch this freaking show and take some notes because
they're like, how do they get our ideas? How did they find this out yet?
I know. They know about the Utah data center. How do they know about this place? Like I was a little worried. They did a great job with the prison. They sucked me in because I cared. I liked Andor for the first time. I was really cheering for the guy in a lot of ways. I kind of felt for him. Some of these other prisoners, even though I knew it was like, I don't know any of their names. And I know they're completely non-existent and don't matter. But I was so drawn to Andy Serkis's character. So he's like the prisoner that's been put as like the head prisoner, because what struck me about the prison stuff is how genius the writing was that they could come up with a reason to answer the question we've all been saying. How does the Empire keep getting all this crap? How are they going to get more TIE fighters? Who's building all this crap? Guess what? Their prisoners are. It's like slave labor, and they turn it into a game so they can have flavored gruel versus non-flavored gruel or get penaltied or not penalty. They don't wear shoes because the floors are like, electrocution
or whatever.
This was the best thing in Star Wars that was really conceived from scratch. And I don't know how long. And then the show completely stops on a dime. I don't know how long we were into it. I didn't mark it in my hindsight, but it's like we're 25 minutes in and the show just completely stops. The lesbians are going to have a conversation. We don't care about that. The Empire people are going to walk around. We have to see the snarky beta alpha inspector who still whines and cries like a little girl. We ignore him for a minute maybe, and then she's going to fly to the first planet and we'll have a scene to let everybody know she's there, and they show up. And then the worst scene imaginable happened for me. I can't tell you. All I have to do is just think about it. Like, is this happening? Like, I thought the She-Hulk jumping through a banner on the Disney Plus thing was shocking. This was almost, I don't know if it was worse or not.
Because of how serious this show is.
It's worse.
And then you see this is the big bad reveal and the fear on her face when she's looking into this room like, oh no, I have to deal with this. And then the reveal is it's a
office chair with straps on it.
It looks like blood pressure straps.
I know.
That's it. Gosh.
The torture chair. So they set up this torture scene. They catch the one guy. So they're bringing in Bix and oh yeah, take him out so she can see. He's had it so rough, and they drag him out. You know, his body's all limp, and they drag him out, right? And then she's standing there, and you have this cut scene where you're like, and they cut over, and he moves, and you see it's just an empty. It literally looks like a cheap Office Depot metal plastic seat chair with like 4 blood pressure cuffs attached to it. And that's it. So I made a little 15-minute clip, you know, which is like interchange with the famous Monty Python, the Spanish Inquisition, you know, give her the comfy chair. Cause that's how I felt. I'm like, this is not happening. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. I don't. Oh,
and I you know, I really like you said, I enjoyed I was surprised because I didn't think, like, once I realized that he was in prison and we're going to say, I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? Is this going to be some type of big giant like escape or whatever the case may be? But I enjoyed all that. I actually got into it a little bit, and Andy Serkis's character played really well. Even some of the other prisoners doing really well. Like,
yeah, it was fine.
And then there was like, what, 30 shifts later. So 30 days later, he's in there a long time, you know, about a month. And you see, he's adapted now to the way things are. Like, they did a good job doing that. And then we just keep jumping out. We're watching that failed prison guard, whatever his name is, or the corporate security guy.
Inspector Karn. Thanks to subtitles, I know what these characters are, because most of the time I don't know.
Oh, without subtitles, you have zero. I mean, I'm bad enough with names as it is anyway. But this, I have zero idea what anyone's name is besides Andor, because, you know, that's it. I mean, or Lutheran. I know him, or Lutheran, I think is his name.
Yeah, Luthien. Well, they sound like they're saying it both ways. They sound like they're saying Luthen and Luthien. But I don't think there's an I. I should look. And Bix, because they say Bix's name a couple of times. And actually, I went through almost the entire. Did we get one episode? Or we got 3 episodes at the beginning, right?
Yes.
I think I went almost to the end before I realized that Maeva was the foster mom, because they kept saying Maeva, but I didn't know who Maeva was, and I didn't know who the old lady was. Like, I didn't even know. Maeva didn't sound enough like her name that would fit for me, so I didn't even know. You know, there's no I, so it's Luthen. But there are times where it sounds like they're saying Luthien. But yeah.
So, and you know, I hate his story, that corporate security. What's his name? Karn. You said
Karn. Yeah.
Karn. I can't stand him. Like, there's no purpose at all whatsoever to have him involved in this. It's a waste of time. I feel like, unless they do some type of giant reveal, kind of.
Why would he not go with her to the planet? It made no sense. The whole point was they set up this moment, and then she's going to be like, okay, you're coming with me. You know more about the planet than I do. You're familiar with Bix. You're whatever. She can't lie to you. Whoever we find, they can't lie to you because you were there. You saw what Cassian looked like. You saw these different things. Like, the whole point of leaving him behind destroys the entire premise of his character existing. Like, I don't even understand what they just did.
And then they're like, oh, no, just forget about everything and
go back to your cubicle. Yeah. Go back to your cubicle and play on your plastic desk with your lights and stuff. Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, or where he's like, maybe they're just way smarter than us and they have some really grand idea on what they're going to do with him. But again, we still know Andor's fate. We know what happened. So he's not going to have any type of effect on Andor. Maybe Bix, maybe someone else. Who knows?
I think episode 9 is going to be epic, because I think this is the big crossover reveal. And Kenobi is going to break Cassian out of the prison by sneaking in with his force powers and putting him in a trench coat and just sneaking him on out.
We're just going to see dead stormtroopers floating in the water behind Obi-Wan.
Just throwing him everywhere. He's got Andor in the coat. Just hanging there, little buddy. I got you out.
Oh, man. And then
it wasn't this bad, because the prison stuff was really good. Oh, by the way, Scott has a great point. That prison does kind of have a little THX 1138 feel. A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. And
then Bobby says that, Andy Serkis is the snow clone template. Yeah. We need more Gungans and Ewoks on Andor.
It would make sense that there's something.
At this point.
I mean, I don't think either of those creatures would fit the lore of where we're at on things, but there's just not aliens. And there's definitely not full body aliens like a Gungan or an Ewok, right? There are aliens that have just masks. in probably gloves. I don't pay enough attention. They're not on screen long enough for us to evaluate anyone. Yeah.
Or like a 4-armed humanoid kind of thing,
Something.
like the doctor.
Oh, that doctor was pretty cool. He just didn't have any lines. He was just
Yeah.
he was just
He didn't. I don't think he said one thing, right?
No, there's no lines. Yeah, no lines. He probably didn't have a mask where he could speak. They probably gave him. I mean, I wish I was being facetious, but at this point, after listening to Rick Baker talk about the struggles that they've had with some of his movie projects, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a pretty legit problem, I guess.
Well, and then what's his name shows up? The guy from Rogue One, the raspy voice guy, the black guy. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker's character.
He was great. The scene was just completely pointless. Like, we're just going to bicker and banter like it's a freaking Democrat-Republican debate. And Saw Gerrera's like, I'm not trusting any of you people. I'm not trusting. You people don't get along. Why am I going to trust everything to you people? You're going to get me killed.
Yeah, it's like they dropped him into the show just for that, just for, like, hey, remember, he's in our show. He's going to be coming up soon. So just stay tuned, or stay tuned as much as possible, and you'll see what's coming. But I got to say, I don't know. Like, this is the only time I have a hard time explaining how I feel about a show. Like, it's not the worst thing. It's okay, but it's like, it's literally kind of hard to do reviews on because it's just not really much happens,
Right. Well, because you end up with like 2 full episodes where nothing happens. And then whenever you have something like this, where you have an episode where you have something that you really, really like, but it's contrasted with like just absolute garbage and a moment that's like a laughing stock moment. Like, it's just, this is what this episode, like the Luthen Saw Gerrera scene is not terrible. And Forrest Whitaker brings it because he was freaking great. It's just that I don't care. Like, they don't even do anything to make it clear to the audience on what they have agreed to do to move forward. I don't even know what happens next. I don't even know. I feel like Saw Gerrera was like, get off my planet. That's pretty much what happened. We had a scene where nothing was agreed upon. Like, I don't.
Like, what was the whole point of even showing that conversation?
Other than just having Forrest Whitaker in the show. Like, I don't understand. Why would Luthen risk getting caught in the middle of all of this elevated tension and security by flying to Saw Gerrera and either getting caught or disclosing where Saw Gerrera is?
And when he was talking to him, he was like, I'm offering to give you whatever equipment it is, but you have to agree to talk to who? Who was he trying to get him to talk to? I have no idea.
I don't remember. Even if they said it, I don't remember. Again, some of these points, guys, I got to be honest, they don't use names properly, so we barely know which characters are which. They will just randomly say things and there are no callbacks or payoffs for it, so it doesn't stick in your subconscious. So even if it happened, I didn't stick with me. I say that a lot. Like, I'll say, you'll hear me do a video and I'll say something about some woman or this character, this dude walks in, I'll be like, yeah, I don't remember their name. I don't care. Because it just doesn't, it didn't have anything that stuck with me. Maybe again, the people that want to say it'll pay off at some point, just wait for it. Yeah, whatever. I'll learn their name then. I'll learn their name when they die, like Wade did. That's about the only way I learned Wade's name, when they told me about it, because I don't freaking care. Yeah.
And that's this is the show that, honestly, and I'm not even the biggest binge watcher in the world, but I think this is the show that should have been dropped all at once. This is the show we're waiting week to week. By the time it's the next week, I'm like, all right, what happened? What did they have?
I actually watched the recaps for this show, or a lot of times I don't watch, like for House of Dragon, I don't have to watch a recap. I'm good. I don't need to sit through a recap for House of Dragon. I know what's going on. Yeah. But no, with this one, I'm usually having to watch a recap. And I'm also cheating because I need them to tell me what they think is important. Because at this point, I'm not sure I know what's important. So I need them to.
If it's in the recap, it's like, all right, this is what they really want me to pay attention to.
This is my outline of what I was supposed to get out of the previous episodes that were drug out too much in my life. But no, I agree. I wish it was. Well, it is. It's just, again, with tedious shows like this and She-Hulk, you're like, I just want to get it over with. Like, Andor, I know it's like 3 episode increments. I just want to get through my 3rd episode so that I can get to the next set of 3, because it's a painful journey.
Yeah. And this was episode 8, right? So we have.
Correct. Episode 9. Yeah. So episode 9 is my end of the 3rd act of something. And there's a 4th act coming, I guess.
Yeah. And then we have 12 total. So we got time.
It was shot on location, so you feel like you are somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I do like some of the the Galactic Empire scenes, like the fact that they're all wearing white, and it looks like I feel like I'm in something that could be connected to the people that made the Death Star. I feel like I'm connected to something so that part feels Star Wars-y. The problem is like the remote planets now. We've been on a couple different planets, and it's all interchangeable, generic sci-fi stuff. And I don't care enough about Andor because I know he lives because, another movie and all.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me like they just excused away. So I said this on that last episode with the heist, episode 6.
Yeah.
It says, notice that there was no like trending on Twitter and no one cared about all these characters that died.
Yep.
And I'm like,
nobody's talking about this.
You've done something wrong if you've killed off characters that you spent at least 2 episodes discussing. Like you had whole scenes supposedly making me care about them. We poll people. They won't know the dude's name.
No.
They won't know. Do a matching game. We should do a matching poll with like the photo and the name and just see, don't cheat. Yeah, good luck. You won't.
It's crazy to me how this show I would say obviously is the best Star Wars. Well, no, not the best Star Wars show, but it's a good Star Wars show compared to what has also been out. Obviously I think Mandalorian's probably been the best Star Wars show that they've done, Disney wise.
Yeah.
So besides that though, this is the best thing that they have done, and nobody is watching it. It's just no one's talking about it. No one's watching it.
There's no buzz. It's almost as bad as She-Hulk. Because look at once we got to like episode 5 of She-Hulk, and it was completely dead. I don't know about your view counts show it. Just no one cares. Like everybody just checked out.
I think Obi-Wan really broke everything. Mm-hmm. I think Obi-Wan was the final nail in the coffin. And was like, all right, this is it. Like I can't do this anymore. This is done. Even a lot of, I did see some Twitter people like, oh, maybe I really need to give Andor a watch. It's like, it's too late now. You know how they are on there. If you're 6 episodes behind on a show you're not going to catch up. They're not going to, this show is not going to explode over time. It's either now or never. And we're already past that.
Yeah. They would have to have some really bizarre twist or cameo or something.
Vader or something show up.
And I'm actually shocked there's no Vader. I actually am like how could the Emperor be letting someone steal millions of credits and disrupt things? And it just seems to me like it reeks of disrupting a bigger picture. That there's not a Star Destroyer with someone that matters showing up, even if it was just for a cameo or something like that. Or
and you do make a good point, because if that was as big as what they're saying, where the entire galaxy is talking about this, like this. Mm-hmm. This rumbles of a rebellion.
Yes.
You would think Vader or somebody, an Inquisitor or whatever you want to use, would be snooping around like what's going on.
They could get really creative and embrace some of that stuff they claim that doesn't matter. And I don't know if you've ever read Shadows of the Empire. Mm-hmm. They could send the Emperor's son, the prince, and have him show up on there. He got, Vader doesn't want to do it. Send the prince. And, it's like that kind of thing. And what would even be better? It would be such a payoff for us because we would be cheering it for all the wrong reasons. Have them kill that Inspector Karn dude.
Oh.
Choke him out. Tell him he knew. Thank you for giving me all your information. I believe you. You still let them all get away. So,
David, you're not missing anything. I wish I was caught up on Andor because I have no idea what is being said. Even if you watched Andor, the odds are you probably still wouldn't know, for the most part, what's going on, because the show is, unless you are dialed in completely, like we just said, sometimes you got to watch the recap of the episode before and be like, all right, was I supposed to catch from the last episode? Because it's just so dry.
It just doesn't really matter because he gets into a struggle. It takes 3 episodes to get him off the planet to escape that and agree to go with Luthen, who basically treats him as a paid contractor to go on a heist with all these other people. Then it takes 3 episodes to get to the heist. They do the heist, which they could not have. There's all these conversations about how they didn't need him, but he's the only one that had a clue on how to shoot people, fly ships, navigate, how to march properly. Like, he's the only reason any of this stuff could have actually been done. And then they get off that. He gets on another ship and leaves all of that. And is convinced with the money that he has that they can just disappear. He literally has like the stereotypical thief syndrome, and then goes to a beach and gets arrested. And now they take him to this really creepy, weird, disturbing prison situation. And then they're all investigating all the crap that happened before. That's literally Andor for you in about a minute or so.
Yeah,
I don't tell you, it's there's nothing complicated about anything, which is part of the problem. Because if it's not at least a little complex, you don't ever get invested. You can just have this on in your kitchen and kind of be okay. I'm good. I know what's going on. There's nothing cool. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's a drama.
Flashy. Yeah.
And then let's see. Wolf. I'm gonna. Do you know how to say that?
Wolf Yularen?
Yularen is there. I don't know who that is. Maybe that's bad, and I should know. But
I'm checking too. I don't know.
Bobby just schooled us.
Oh, that's the okay. I got you. So that's the he's the Clone Wars guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He just.
But they don't say his name. They don't say his name.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. That's an I Spy Easter egg thing.
Yeah, because he was very quiet, right? He was barely even talking when.
I don't even know if he has any lines in one of the episodes he's in.
Well, it was the last episode. I remember him being there, and she was talking to him about the importance of the general, the ambitious blonde, and I again don't know her name, the lieutenant, whatever. And
Mira, that's right. Her name is Mira. I think.
And he was just kind of like like barely listening to her. You could tell he was just like unamused whatsoever. But did you see? Now I guess we can hop off Andor. But did you see the other Jedi or Star Wars show that came out, the animated?
I haven't yet. I actually didn't even know it was going to drop yet.
I didn't either. I had zero idea. I just saw it pop up when I went to look at Andor, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." Joker told me he had gotten through it. I'm like, he says, "Well, they're only like 12-minute long. They're these shorts," and he only liked half of them. I said, "Well, that's a digestible thing." The problem is, I went down the rabbit hole today, Matt. You'd be proud of me and also disappointed in me. I binged an entire season of Cobra Kai at work.
Oh, okay. Season 2?
It just kept going. It just kept season 2, baby. I'm on season 3 already. It was good. It's really good. It just moves really fast. It's fun. Good characters. It's not nearly as good as season 1, but it was really good. And I'm just like, oh, I kept clicking off of it and looking at like the movie stuff and the Halloween stuff and whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Let's go back to Cobra Kai. So,
yeah, I'd have to. That's another one on my list is to binge that. And that's something because I'm right there with you. I can probably breeze through that. We can do some live streams on Cobra Kai because that would be fun to watch, especially if it's a fun show. I like talking about good things. But yeah, David, it's Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. Yep.
And it's animated. It's very similar to like the Clone Wars style, from what I gather. I've heard, like you said, a couple good ones. Like they show. Is it the actual fall of Count? Did you? Well, I don't know if you saw them.
I haven't watched them yet. I know that there's like 3 of them that are, that Joker said were good. 3 that were not so good. He didn't care about the Dooku ones as much. There's a couple about Dooku, I guess.
Yeah.
And again, I'm David. You're getting this review secondhand, right? Joker voice is someone that I do agree with most of the time, so that was his assessment. So
yeah, and I watch Mr. H. I don't know if you've seen Mr. H's channel.
Yep.
He actually I didn't get to watch all of his review because I was so busy earlier, but I saw on his he liked the Dooku stuff. So, and I agree with, I like some of his review, his opinions. Some I'm off, right? I'm not always there. So
sure,
but they're short enough to where you can go through. I think they're about 18-minute episodes.
Yeah, he said something when you factored in credits and stuff like that. Sometimes they're like, the neighborhood of 12 to 15 minutes or so. So I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but that was a ballpark. So that's manageable. I meant to do it today, and I got to be honest, I just kept on churning and burning the Cobra Kai, baby. It was just, I'm in it. I was in it to win it. So, I saw a comment. Oh, that was David. David also. Yeah.
Yeah. Cobra season 1. Season 1 was great. Like I said, it's been a long, I should probably rewatch season 1, but if there is a recap, is there a recap of season 1 before season 2? All right. Then I'll remember. Cause I remember pretty much, it wasn't that long ago that I watched all of season 1, but I do need to get through it because I've just, I've just heard so many good things about it. And I probably need to watch Karate Kid again. I haven't seen Karate Kid.
Yeah, I didn't watch them again. I'm like, it's good enough. I'm good. The way they reference it, they give you like snippets. So there's a scene in season 2. I think it's Karate Kid 2 where they're on like motorcycle bikes. It's Johnny and his friends on motorcycle bikes. So here they are, flash forward as adults, and they're kind of like in the little quasi midlife crisis type adventure. And so they keep kind of intercutting because you're kind of getting a feel for what they're thinking about or what they're remembering. So they do that a lot. And then so I wouldn't have to rewatch all those. So
see, I can. So David says I can rewatch season 1 and 2 all the time. Season 3 and 4 I haven't rewatched once. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard, because what are they up to, 5 now?
I think so, at least. I'm just kind of going along to get along. Mags hasn't sold me wrong. She said that she says even when you have subpar seasons and stuff like that, they're better than most of the other content out there. So
yeah,
Miguel, I got to be honest, not just Miguel. I got to be honest. Here's the thing. These characters have such real life story arcs that are constantly changing. That is the way to write a soap opera story, man. It is the way to write good, dramatic humans that you can believe. Like, Robbie does this, and then Robbie does this, and then Robbie does that, and Daniel's doing this, and it's back and forth. And I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
Now, did you see or hear the creators of this show, of the Cobra Kai show, want to do a spin-off of Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
No. That's been tried a couple times. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Well, I don't know, because I love that movie and I don't really want it touched. But the spin-off is supposed to be the 2 guys that stole the car.
Yes, the criminals.
It's supposed to be of those 2.
Okay.
A series
of stuff that's
them.
Being set in the Ferris Bueller universe.
Kind of like Cobra Kai, like we're using. That's the
well, Cobra Kai is definitely a sequel to the Karate Kid films. I've actually said I don't know why there's not a show that could pull all of the John Hughes stuff together into one big universe. Like I don't think I would want to handicap myself into something as small as the 2 thieves from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
but I could see myself doing something where, because you have all these John Hughes films that are kind of set in the same town that he's known to write about. So it would be easy to come up with stuff that's set in that same. For instance, they did that thing with Stephen King, right, where it was set in the town that Castle Rock, right? So they did that Castle Rock show where it was like all these Stephen King things that are always set in Castle Rock existed. I could see you doing that with John Hughes. You could do a Hughes thing where these, Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller and Pretty in Pink and I don't know, Uncle Buck, they could all exist in their same little spot, Chicago, right? So that would work. Could do that.
I didn't mind. I thought Castle Rock was actually pretty good. I don't know if you watched.
I enjoyed it in the beginning. I don't think I watched. I don't know how many seasons
season
there even
1. I don't think I watched season 2, but I did. Season 1 was pretty good. But yeah, so here it says, this is the article. This is from August. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off spinoff in the works with Cobra Kai creators at Paramount, and it's saying, titled Sam and Victor's Day Off. The film is a side story that focuses on the characters on the same day as Ferris and Cameron and Sloane skip school. So
they're trying to set that in like 1985. They're not going to try to do it like it's set now. They're trying to do it like it was actually set in that moment. Like where did they go on their joyride?
I guess, yeah, what they did with the car.
Oh, that
would be
okay. I'm okay. That's fine. It's a standalone direct-to-video type movie. That's the appropriate stuff to do that with, right? You keep your budget low. You can maybe. Listen, if it wasn't the Cobra Kai people, I'd be a lot more hesitant. It doesn't seem like that would interfere. As long as they end up taking the car back for Ferris to pick up again, they don't change the lore. Like I'm okay. Like I'm listen. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a film. So it is going to be a film. It's not going to be a series, which is good.
That's a relief.
That would be because if I don't even know how you would do a series.
Hour and a half. It's got to be short. We don't need some 2 hour and 15-minute attempt at a comedy. It's like it's going to be 86 minutes of shenanigans.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And then, I guess I don't know. Sometimes though, I don't know, and this is kind of with a bunch of movies. I've always liked kind of the unknown of things. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
Sure.
I don't want to know what happens. I think the imagination is better so that we can sit down and have conversation, say, well, what do you think they did with the car? What do I think they did with
Correct.
the car?
Right.
Versus them saying, nope, this is definitively what happened, and that's that. And it's like, you know.
Well, it's going to
But
be a letdown because we're going to know what they did, and there's no way it's going to make sense. There's going to be something that they would do where you and I are both going to be like, no, they'd go to jail for that. They wouldn't be able. They're going to go too far for the gag, right? They're just, when a lot of comedies, you have to have suspension of disbelief, and if we're supposed to believe the car goes back unscratched,
and they did all the stuff that
I don't believe you, but yeah, that's what you're going to do. I mean, yeah.
Didn't they just announce a new Karate Kid movie?
I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. They keep trying. They don't understand why Karate Kid works.
They just rebooted it a couple years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, with Will Smith's kid, right?
Mm-hmm. Like long ago, because he was young.
That was 2010 with Jackie Chan.
Yep, that's right. Which I don't think that went very well. My understanding.
I never watched it. I'm not that big of a big Karate Kid fan, so throw me out of the fandom, I guess, if they want, but I'm just like, it's okay. I mean, it's fine. It was what it was. I admitted to the same thing about Top Gun when I heard that was going to be made into a sequel. I was like, really? That's what we want? Really?
Yeah, like I like Top Gun, the original Karate Kid. I've seen it. It's good, but am I like the biggest fans ever? I'm not even going to pretend and say I am. I've seen the movies, handful of times, but I think the sequels and everything now are way better than.
I was going to ask you if you think Maverick obviously exceeded Top Gun by a lot. Like
absolutely,
a massively better story. Like people are like, "Oh, it's the same story. It's whatever." No, it's not. You care about Bob. You care about the no-name black dude. Like, the dude's gonna die, and you're like, no, I don't want this dude to die. I don't even know his name, but I don't want him to die.
Yeah, you care about everybody. You even care, like, even in the first Top Gun, did you really care that much about Maverick? Not really. I mean, he's just kind of like a goofball, and
I don't even know that I could have picked Merlin and stuff out of a lineup. You know what I mean? No. Whereas like this new movie, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah. I loved it. I still was Cobra Kai. Like Cobra Kai, they have the scene with some characters from the original franchise that come back, and I care more about them now in their older versions than I would when they were kids. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see. That's in season 2, so it's not too much of a spoiler. But there's characters they bring back too, so they tie more even to the original films by bringing back a couple other original characters. And so
it'll I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah. So what do you got going on, Pops? What do you have on your? You always have a scheduled live stream. I feel like you have stuff scheduled out till freaking November, don't you?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So I
you have like a whole thing going on.
I have a pallet, right? Yeah. So because for those of you who don't know, I live at a farm, so I work in the city. So I only really have this sort of access to streaming and doing this type of work, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So generally speaking, there's usually something going on in that bubble. So Tuesday nights at 5:30 Eastern time is Talk Hard. That's my show. I have Stone Loki and Ironcaster, who are 2 other YouTube creators. We do breakdown analysis and discussions. This coming Tuesday, we do Fifth Element, the Bruce Willis film, a great sci-fi fun.
Great movie.
And then the week after, we kind of have like a fill-in week, because this year, by the way, I don't know if it's the first time ever, but it definitely is the first time I remember, the Charlie Brown It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, did not air because they didn't there was a rights issue. So it made me think about like traditions and stuff. So we're going to do a night where we talk about like, Thanksgiving / Christmas with like traditions and movies and football and foods. And we're kind of more of you kind of have to have a break sometimes. Even if you're doing you're doing enough good reviews, you do 5 or 6 in a row. You're like, I want to do something different. So that's going to be that Talk Hard. So the next 2 are Fifth Element and then the traditions night. And we have not decided the other one. And then the week after that would be Thanksgiving week, which we will not have a show on that Tuesday night. I should open my calendar so I don't misspeak. I will be on Ryan Roger Athays on Wednesday, his reality-based show at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
He does the Rising Stars, right? I've seen
He
those
does
videos.
Rising Stars. He does all sorts of interesting things. Well, he started streaming.
Good for him.
For all of us, keep encouraging. He's finally, and he does basically an interview with a YouTuber, and I'm like, and it's been gold. It's so much fun. He's very robotic in structure, just like he is in his other little scripts, but when you stretch it out over a couple hours, you start to get all these little nuggets. And he is, I don't know, he got Loki good. He pulled out something from Loki's past, and Loki was like, I can't believe you know that. How did you find? So he listened to some show from I don't know how long ago and knew some factoid. So who knows what in my past this man has unearthed. Like, we joke that he has a dossier on us all. He has dossier notes on us all. So he's the one that gave me the label of calling it like, I have a career in alternative media. That was a great way to summarize the writing of websites and working in radio and, you know, working on other people's YouTube channel, all this stuff that I've done over these years. And I'm like, oh, that's a fair title. I can live with that. That's a fair way to describe, you know, it's always been a side job. I never did this full time. So
yeah. His channel is pretty cool. I like his stuff. I've seen him, and his voice is so just
that British dry, he's like that David Attenborough narrator.
Yes. If you just listen to him, he sounds like he's probably 68 years old. You know,
my wife still didn't believe me when she came on a stream. I don't know if you knew this or not. My wife only came on one stream. When I got monetized, they did a monetized stream, and she made a cameo. Actually, my granddaughter was too. My granddaughter was there. They have an avatar.
Yeah.
But they all wanted to ask Mrs. Pops. That's what Max called her, Mrs. Pops. So now her nickname is Mrs. Pops. And she was like, Ryan is not 23. She just kept, she was just hung up on this. Like, how old is he? We're like, you guys are punking me? Like, it's okay. You could let the joke go now. I'm like, dude, he's 40. No, he's not. He's like 43, right? You guys are literally, she wouldn't let it go. She wouldn't let it go. So, and by the way, we were actually going to the Orlando meetup on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. You are doing that.
Mrs. Pops is coming with me. We'll be on the road meeting some folks, and we're going to meet Megan of Noob Reviews. She also does comic book reviews.
Yeah, we do on your channel before.
Yeah, we do a back and forth on my channel, her channel, and on that Thursday, the 3rd, I will be on her channel at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, that's my next week, pretty much in a nutshell.
Well, hopefully you get to give us some news on how the meetup goes. And if you're not subscribed to Pops, I just put the link in the chat. It's in the description. Definitely go check out Pops' channel. I love what you do. I love your live streams, man. I go to you a lot. I probably bother the hell out of you with all the comic book knowledge because I'm limited on my stuff. Like I said, I'm not. Matt's
figured me out. For those of you who haven't known, like we were joking off camera, like, "What are you doing, Pa?" I am literally sitting here sorting comic books to post on. Like he's like, "Well, do you want to show them off? Do you want to?" I said, "If you want." I'm just like, it doesn't really end. It's just this perpetual state of my world of stuff, and I am that nerdy. I am that nerd.
And they can reach you on Twitter, right? You got
Twitter? So at bjonespops on Twitter, and on YouTube I have the handle now, so it's just @pops. So if you just do the youtube.com and you do the @pops, it should come up. So that's a new thing YouTube's doing. They're giving us handles, or you can try to fight for a handle, because on my other channel I was trying to get one and it didn't like the options. I was trying to change my thing, because you know how sometimes they give you these crazy names and stuff, but I got @pops, which I'm so thrilled about, because I actually was called Pops on Pop Culture, and that was my name. And then I had only done like 3 videos or something, and someone said, well, there's a podcast. I was trying to find your show, and I got this podcast called Pops on Pop Culture, but that wasn't you. And I'm like, oh crap, seriously? And it's just 2 dudes that are younger than me, which made me even more angry. Had my name that I had owned since 2012. My YouTube channel was made in like 2012. So yeah,
that's why luckily no one wants to use a common idiot. So I was like, well, that's just mine.
I feel weird referring to you that way. Like I still, I usually put your name in parentheses or something.
A lot of people do that.
I don't want to call it. Like I just don't.
Where it comes from is because, and how I started all that is basically, it's like the common sense that we have about a lot of these things. Yeah, we'd always get called idiots, or you're a this or a phobe or whatever. So like, well, now I'm just a common idiot. Like, yeah, I'm an idiot for thinking like the normalcy of things and how it should be. Because, and then too, like when you're haters, like how do you really rip on me when I'm calling myself an idiot. Like, you can't, it's just, it's out the window. So they say, well, the biggest thing they'll say is, well, the channel name fits. And it's like, well, it's not
That's
effective
funny.
anymore. So
Good job,
it's
buddy.
like, you
That's
know what I
not
mean?
creative like at all. It's on brand. If he says something dumb, I'm just gonna put hashtag on brand.
Exactly.
You'll know when Pops doesn't agree with Matt. He'll just say hashtag on brand. He'll be like, "Oh crap, I did something that I probably shouldn't have said," or
But Bobby says, real quick here, he says,
sure.
I love the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown just because people keep giving Charlie Brown rocks instead of candy. Such a great. Did you see his movie, the Peanuts movie that they did probably in 2000?
I've watched it. I don't know that it stuck with me or anything special. I didn't screen it or anything like that. I just remember watching it with the family. I don't remember anything good or bad or otherwise. It was okay, right?
Yeah,
it
wasn't bad. I just like how they are so protective of the brand. The family.
Yeah, the family is very, very, and this is where the fight came in. The fight came in over some sort of licensing issue with the pumpkin, and that didn't happen. I'm really worried about the Christmas one now, because I don't know, because that's like tradition. So I mean, I own them. So this happened. I think I found out like on the last Thursday, and I gathered the 2 grandkids and we watched Great Pumpkin on Friday night.
Yeah,
no kids. We were gonna. Pops is stressed. There's a chance this thing is. You're getting a dose, so
no, you have to have. Yeah, I am an advocate of physical media for sure. Like, I have way too many Blu-rays and DVDs that I probably should, but when I want to go pull them, or now like what they see, they're even changing advertising in the background of some of these movies just because they don't align with the advertisers of like what Disney's pushing or whatever. So it's very, very weird. So I'm always like, look, own physical media, especially your favorite movies, and the knockoff movies that you don't really care about, whatever. But stuff like that, the ones that matter, the important ones, buy them, own them, have them.
If you can get a copy of Johnny Dangerously, buy it.
Johnny Dangerously.
You can't get it. You can't get a physical copy. I cannot find my physical copy. We were screening Johnny Dangerously, and I was stressed beyond all get out because I could
nothing
not
on eBay, nothing.
Yeah, if you want to pay. You want to overpay. Like, I can buy it. I mean, I'll eventually find it at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
But I appreciate David. He's throwing around some comic book information. Listen, you have questions or comments. I'm trying to do better of balance it. I did a poll, and the poll didn't help me at all, because I said that people want like where to start, what is good, or tear into the crap. And everyone equally voted for all 3. So that didn't help me at all. So I don't know how to prioritize. So I'm just going to kind of rotate through. But yeah, the Avenger stack is to sell. That's actually going to move to have money to buy. This is one I can kind of recommend. It's like a soft recommend. This is the Red Hulk. So they rebooted all of these stories. And I think you asked for Wolverine. Maybe someone else did.
No, I did.
And go through some Wolverine. And I'm following these timelines. I'm putting together my notes, and I'm like, what did they do? It's like starting like 2012. They all got redone, whatever. It's all changed. And I was looking at these Avengers today. Now, the original Avengers started in 1963. Hundreds of issues. Hundreds. There are now volume 8. So somehow within the last 10 years, we have restarted this stupid stuff. Like, what have they done? What have they do? So I can understand the how do I jump in and what is good mentality.
Oh, I'm right there with you, because I get if I want to jump into something, I'm like, well, where do I even start? Where do what's the good runs? What's a good story, whatever the case, because I have no idea on some of these books, right? That's why I'll go and just pick up something and be like, it looks good. And it's $1, so we'll try it and see. Or I find like a part 2 of 6, and I'm like, oh shit. Now I'm in the middle. Now I gotta find 1 through 5. But
I'm going to do a little Halloween because someone asked me about Halloween stuff. I don't read a lot of that kind of stuff, but I did find a Batman one that I'm going to recommend. So I'm going to do a video on that. I'm getting tired to do it tonight, so I may just get up early in the morning and record it. Called Batman Red Rain. Would recommend that. But all the Red Hulk stuff, I had never read it. And I read the first 2
Red Hulk, but
I read the first 2 issues. And it's Hulk, right? So for those of you who don't understand my sarcasm, Hulk is not a deep superhero comic book, right? It's a lot of Hulk smash. The art's pretty generic because you just got a bunch of muscle heads throwing down and smashing and destroying things. Right now it's Red Hulk, so it's Green Hulk and Red Hulk hitting someone. But there were some clever elements, and then I realized it was written by Jeff Loeb. All right, I'll put in the chat. I don't have comments on this screen. Jeph Loeb, and he's a good writer. He's a good writer, and that's why it's good. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's a good writer. So I found the trade paperback, the graphic novel, so I could read the first 6 issues or so, and then I'll again rinse and repeat. It's not a high recommend. It's not a keeper for like the long-term library, but it was worth getting into it a little bit. So I'll do that as well. So
yeah. So if you have questions about comics or again, not even that, I mean, even your movie reviews, your pops or popspectives, right?
Yeah, we started Popspectives because sometimes I don't really care about doing like a review per se. Like, I don't really want to get too far in the weeds, especially on movies like that. Like we did Nightmare on Elm Street's been around for almost 40 years. It's like just 38 years. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah. So I just kind of did a generic little high level, little talking through some different thoughts and just hit a few points. So I'm doing a little bit more of that. Actually, I forgot to put the Popspective little trailer in the little teaser intro that I made. So that was kind of just, oh man, I hit the wrong thing. So I'll have to do that next time. So
hey, Lewis Barry, how are you? Glad you're stopping by. Thank you for checking us out.
And David is absolutely right about Miss Marvel. They have started that like, I mean, literally, like there'll be like 12 issues in the series, and they'll start it over again. And it's like
isn't that because
gimmicks?
It did poorly, right? And then they have to rebrand it.
Yeah, they sell gimmicks. Like, so when they rebrand it, it's a #1. They sell variant covers and get new artists and all this stuff, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. That's what sucks. Going down those rabbit holes, start collecting, and then you got to start all over again if that's what you want. But that's one cool thing I did that I've discovered so far from doing these little mini Halloween movies is just the little quick perspective videos, like the 4 or 5 minutes. Those are great. Like they're fun to do. They're quick. They're easy. Just kind of something to mention. And then you can always use it into a live stream. So I'm going to probably do more of those just throughout the year, just to talk about movies that I really like and enjoy. So.
Yeah, I think so too. When I watch something, just do a little shorter version. Like shorter for me is more like 10 minutes, but it's definitely shorter than my 20 to 30 minute diver deeps, which is normally what I'm known for. So yeah, if I can get down around 10 minutes, I think that's still a lot of my thoughts have been vomited up on screen so that it's there and documented. And I'm curious on how it will evolve, because I know that there's a lot of things where, I think about how I felt or my first impression of something, and now it's changed. Like it'd be interesting to see that over time, depending on how long I last doing this time around. We'll see. I think I'm in it to win it, so we'll see.
Yeah, because I definitely like a movie that just reminded me, like, I thought Halloween Kills was okay when it first came out, and now I absolutely hate it. Halloween Ends is terrible, but Halloween Kills, it was okay at first, but now I don't ever want to watch it ever.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could fan edit a few things and fix it, but I do that.
I'm fine with 2018. 2018, that would be a good ending. But
you can get in the whole rabbit hole of just following what Halloween timelines are, because I didn't. People ask about Halloween when the movie came out, and I'm like, well, they're different timelines. What do you mean by that?
It's literally like Doc Brown. Like, all right, well, we split here.
It literally is. It's like well, 1 and 2, and then H2O.
Yeah,
and then there's Rob Zombies, and there's 1 and 2. Well, what about 3? No, 3 is separate. It's its own thing. It has nothing to do with Mike Myers.
DeLorean here.
Yeah.
3 went that way. Like,
so it's just kind of like, oh, okay. And I know. Yeah. So that is a problem too with what we do, because the more you do this and you run into more people, then you're treated like you have to explain these things to normies, and you're always trying to figure out their level and what they're interested in and how to get there. And so yeah, I'm loving the ride, man. I'm so glad we got to be closer friends, and I can't wait to keep doing more of this with you, man. Let's keep doing
absolutely. It. And appreciate you being a member and supporting the channel too, Pops.
Oh yeah,
and I definitely want to do more shows with you in the future. We can do, I don't know, like I said, right now I can only stream. I know you have your own shows. I'm streaming once a week. I do the members just on Sunday mornings, because I know that's easiest for a lot of people. But yeah, even if we record stuff and then announce it, do videos like that, like interview videos versus live streaming. So, but yeah, I'm glad we were able to connect, and I'm glad you're able to jump on tonight and talk about some stuff, man. I love that you're on. I hope you can make it more often.
Sure. Yeah, this is good. Thursday nights is a good to plan. So you just will have to pick one, and then that's what it'll be that night. Yeah, that works out well. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
I'm going to show you one. I'm just going to show you one just so you can realize how beautiful they are.
Show us more than one.
Okay. Well, let's run through. This is Avengers 145 to 157. So this is 76 or so, right around this 66. It's around 1976, 1977, roughly. So the thing that's interesting about these, and maybe you'll notice this, is how consistent the art and the tone and the feel is. Like it doesn't take long. Usually every 1 or 2 issues, it's a different writer or a different artist or whatever, but nothing major tonally changes.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just different villains. It's just they usually just set stuff up like, well, what happened? How could that happen? And then you have, this is one of my favorites because I don't really care for Thor, but I have to admit this was one of those that I thought was always pretty cool.
That is a sharp looking cover.
Yeah. And then you have just, almost like too much information's happening in some of them where they're just like, what's going on?
So much on the cover.
Yeah. So trying to find another one that's kind of interesting. So then you have like, this is like an anniversary one, right? It's 150. Yeah, 150. So you have like just showcase them all. That's all. That's our goal. It's very simplistic. Just showcase who everybody is. That's all. This is actually one that was expensive. And every time I look at it, I find a new blemish to figure out. Because this is actually the one where Beast joins the Avengers.
Huh.
Every time I look at it, I find a new issue with it. So,
and you said that now the market's not good for comics. I figured.
Well, we went through this pandemic surge, right? Because obviously you ended up with like anything that was like a key issue and first appearances, and people were getting them graded, and just everything kind of shifted and changed. Similar to what happened in sports cards as well.
Yeah.
But the economy has so dramatically impacted things that it's just softened the market in a lot of ways. Like it really has. I have like a Crisis on Infinite Earths #1. It's graded to a 9.6. So you're talking about, around $150 or so. It's not horribly expensive, but it's pricey. But it's a beautiful comic and it's an iconic comic. A 9.8 just sold for like $86. Like what on earth happened? Like the auctions are there's just not enough people searching for things and watching things, and that's how auctions are lowering the price. So yeah. It started around this. This is when it started. He is trying to become an Avenger in a few issues before that one, and then he becomes an Avenger. It's in 151. So this is a little known character who does die. His name is Whizzer. Kind of a bizarre knockoff version of Quicksilver. And this is here's Namor. The actual Namor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great cover. I love this. Dr. Doom.
I love Dr. Doom. Guy, aren't they gonna bring him? Well, they'll ruin him, but he's supposed to be
should be coming, but I'm with you. I don't trust these people for nothing at the moment. So
no.
Yeah. So,
did you ever get Isom? Did you get Rippaverses? Did you read it yet?
No, I didn't. I am sort of overspent on my Indiegogo commitments and stuff like that. I still have stuff that I have funded that I still don't have books for yet. So I'm still. I have books I've not reviewed yet. I've read but not done review videos on. I usually try to flip them so I can get some of my money back and churn them back into the system. So once you factored in the cost of the book and the shipping, I kind of had to just go, I guess I'm going to have to risk the secondary market, or maybe a cover C will be there when I can afford it again and things like that. There's just so many pieces in my hopper. I couldn't afford to throw another $60 in that general direction, basically.
Yeah, Pop's got me ready to start reading more comics again because I've been lacking the past 2 weeks because of his Persona video game he's been playing. Yeah, David's a avid comic fan. I know he's reading them all the time. Like I said, I'm trying to pick up issues.
Gotta do some videos. That's it.
Yeah, get into it.
I have to admit, I enjoy my physical ones. I do use the app. I've listened to videos. I'm just an uber nerd with all this crap. I just completely honest. I do enjoy it all. I know you love cards. We didn't even talk about cards tonight. Oh my god! I know. Talk about a rabbit hole. Holy crap! We do a whole stream just on cards.
That is a stream we will have because I'm gonna break them out and we can go through them and showcase them because that was my thing. Like back in school and stuff. I mean, I love comics and everything, and I had a bunch, but the trading cards was where it was at. I mean, Marvel or the X-Men were bumping, Spider-Man, the shows were on, and that was where all that stuff blew up for me. There you go, right there.
Did you see it? Did you see it on the show the other night? I showed it. I showed Zach's. This was Zach's fault. He got me down this rabbit hole. That's the original Jim Lee unsealed set, man. That's
my goodness.
First Deadpool card. Original holograms are in there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Are you opening that?
We're going to open that. We've not decided. I told Zach he's going to have to do it with me. So the story goes that he sends me a link, like an urgent message, like, you got to check this out right now. Someone was busting open a Marvel Masterpiece 1996 box. So it's like a $6,000 comic card box, right? The Marvel Masterpieces kind of had phased out. In the 96s, they hired only Julie Bell and Boris Vallejo, the famous fantasy artists. So you talk about super beautiful, sexy art for all of the Marvel universe, and no one had ordered them. So they were extremely rare right out of the gate. So, of course, again, people want graded ones or whatever. The price went bonkers. So somebody was opening this in a live card break. And what they did was they sold packs. Like, so, you know, who can afford a $6,000 box of cards? Yeah. But for, I don't know how much it costs. Let's say it costs $50 to get a pack. All right, so and they just number the packs, right? So you open a box and it's pack 1, pack 2, and underneath it, pack 3, 4. That's it. All right, so here's pack number 9. All right, this is for Matt. Here's what Matt got. Da da da. And they show it, and all right, Matt. You know, no, we're gonna send them out to you. Congratulations. You know, that kind of thing. And they'll put them in sleeves and cases if they needed to and stuff like that. So I said, well, we should do that, Zach. He's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, oh man, I can find something. So I traded a comic
for that.
Yeah, I had a graded comic that the guy wanted. I traded a comic for it.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, one of my graded ones.
David, yes, I plan on doing one on Sunday. It'll be 11 a.m. like I normally do it till 12 Eastern. I'll put the link. I'll make sure everyone gets a notice because I remember that one you didn't get a notice of it or to see the link, or YouTube's weird about it.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so I'll make sure that you all, or I'll put that in the chat too, the community tab, the members community tab. So you guys see that. But yes, I will have one Sunday, like I said, just to follow up, see what you guys are up to. I plan on watching a couple of things. I'll probably breeze through those Star Wars, that animated series, and I'll probably talk about it. Or maybe some comics, because I want to get through Isom. I'm halfway through it. I want to finish it. So maybe I'll talk about that on the stream. I know, David, cool. You've read it. So yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, I think we're right at the 2-hour mark.
We are. We almost timed this out like we planned it.
Look at that. I know. We planned it. But thank you again for Pops for hopping on, man. I definitely appreciate it. Love the channel. Awesome. Glad that we've linked up and been able to talk about stuff and info. Or I know you guys sent me those Batman books. Those are awesome.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna definitely
awesome, man. Anything I can do to help you out, I'd be happy to help you out. You help me out, so thanks for being a member to me too, man. So, and David, absolutely. Yeah, man, we feel your pain, bro. This YouTube stuff, you kind of have to stay on top of everything going on, and then as a creator, you just have to start learning. This is why you can't get caught up in numbers, because people that are loyal and want to, really enjoy your content and give you good interaction and stuff, they don't get notifications that day. Like it just happens. You just can't take it personal. Like people, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The machinery is not built for success for us. They don't, that's not how it works. So,
yeah, but I'll make sure I always post stuff in the community tab. So
the community tab.
Keep an eye on that. That's a saving grace right there. Scott, thank you for stopping by. I know
Scott,
Bobby was here earlier. A bunch of others were here as well. Yep. Mirage was here. Mark, Pimp. Thanks for stopping by. Great names. But thank you all for stopping by. Like I said, I'm starting to chew this consistently again every Thursday, and then my member streams on Sunday. So, but again, Pops, as always, thank you, my friend. I look forward to more streaming with you, more videos, and we'll see you all next week. So
take care, everybody.
See you guys.